I rushed to the hospital for my son. My heart was racing so fast I could barely breathe as I reached the ICU. Doors, a nurse stopped me, her eyes wide, her face pale, her voice shaking. She said, "Stay quiet and don't move," before I could ask why the alarms went off. The sound echoed through the hallway and my heart sank. And in that moment, I understood why she stopped me. My daughter-in-law was inside that room, and she wasn't there to help him. She was there to end him for the house. It started with a phone call early in the morning, a number I didn't know. A voice trembling said, "Ma'am, your son has been in an accident. You need to come now." My world went still. I remember my shawl falling off as I ran out of the house. I didn't even remember locking the door. I just remember whispering, "Please God, not my child, not my boy." When I reached the hospital, the air felt heavy. People crying, nurses running machines, beeping. I kept asking, "Where is my son? Someone, please tell me where he is." Then someone pointed toward the ICU. I started running, but before I could reach the door, a nurse grabbed my arm. Her face was pale, her eyes full of something I couldn't name. She said, "Please don't go in yet. Stay quiet and wait." Her voice wasn't strict. It was scared. That was the first time I realized something was terribly wrong. Then I saw her, my daughter-in-law, standing in the corner, pretending to cry, her eyes dry, her expression calm, too calm. And she wasn't alone. There was a man beside her wearing a black coat, holding a briefcase. I moved closer just enough to hear. She said, "Once the papers are signed, the property is mine. Just make sure no one revives him if his heart stops." My hands started shaking, my knees gave out. I leaned against the wall praying I misheard her, but deep down I knew I didn't. Just then the alarm started, that long, endless sound that tears through your soul, red lights, flashing, nurses shouting. I thought I was losing my son right there, but the nurse who stopped me shouldn't panic. She ran straight toward the room. Through the glass I saw everything. The nurse pushed through the door, grabbed my son's foreline and pulled it out. A syringe rolled across the floor. She shouted, "Get the real line now." Doctors rushed in. The daughter-in-law stood frozen, pretending to faint, but I saw the truth in her eyes. Before she dropped to the floor, she was caught. The nurse whispered something to the guard. He nodded and stood behind her. The whole world around me blurred. I just stood there watching my son's life hanging by a thread and realizing the person who wanted him dead was family. Hours passed. My son was alive, but weak. The doctor said if that nurse hadn't acted when she did, he would not have made it. The police arrived. The nurse handed them the security footage. Everything was there. My daughter-in-law entering the ICU alone, switching the four, then walking out crying. Fake tears. When they questioned her, she confessed. She said she only wanted the property. She didn't mean for him to die, but that was enough. She was taken away when my son woke up. His voice was small and broken. He said, "Mom, she asked me to transfer the house last week." I said, "No, I never thought she would go this far." I held his hand and whispered, "You're safe now, my children are safe." I never shouted, I never cursed, I never went to see her again. I just made one promise. She will never have what she tried to kill for the house. The peace, the name, everything she wanted is gone from her reach. My son signed new papers, everything under my name, not for greed, but for protection. The nurse came to visit. A few days later, she smiled and said I only did what any mother would do. I hugged her and whispered, "You saved my world." And when my daughter-in-law was finally sentenced, I felt no anger, only peace, because revenge doesn't always scream. Sometimes it comes wrapped in silence, and the truth itself becomes justice.